Black Economy Excellence is proud to announce the establishment of the Global Center for Diversity and Inclusion. Now more than ever, corporations, nonprofits, and governmental entities recognize the urgent call for a better world, where equality and equity aren't just theories we discuss, but practices embraced throughout organizations from top to bottom. As a premier center for diversity and inclusion, our mission is to provide the tools, training, and knowledge that will empower organizations through webinars, research, conventions, publications, and networking to achieve their diversity and inclusion goals. As part of the B Initiative's Corporate Partners for B program, we invite you to take an active role as a corporate partner or sponsor to contribute to the success of our mission. Help us to keep momentum going as we strive to bring this critical change to the world with a solution that we can all be a part of. Join us. It's time to turn good words into powerful actions that reflect this unifying goal. Become a part of the Global Center for Diversity and Inclusion today.
Everyone, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. My name is Wasan Yerdov. I am the Director of Global Center for Diversity and Inclusion, GCDI department, under the great company called Black Economy Excellence. Black Economy Excellence is a company that initiates Purpose Black, a new e-commerce platform to fulfill one of its biggest targets with the aim of creating 1 million Black millionaires in the next 10 years. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this, our weekly course webinar that is organized by our department on the topic, financial literacy, understanding the basics. For those of you who want to watch our previous webinars, you can get them on our YouTube channel named Black Economy Excellence. If you like us, please subscribe and share to others. We have invited an outstanding team for today's training. They are Ms. Yeti and Mr. Mahader. Just on housekeeping before we get started, if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your Zoom control panel. I will bring them up during the presentation and we will have time for the answers at the end. I am also privileged to announce that Dr. Fasab Tamayo, our CEO, who is also the founder of this great project, is here with us today. Thank you for your presence, Doctor. Now, let me direct you to our today's presenters, who are very experienced trainers and financial consultants. Our first presenter is Mr. Mahader. I invite Mr. Mahader to take the floor now.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Wasan. I really appreciate that for the opportunity that you gave us. Thank you, BEE, GCDI, and Purpose Black. I like the name Black Economy. Today, we're going to present me and Yeti. The presentation is going to be in two parts. I'm going to give you the gist of what exactly does mean financial literacy, the difference between illiteracy and then financial literacy. There are lots of things going on in the world today. As you could see, financial literacy has something to do with money. Money is a popular concept. Money, we know about money, we crave about money, we want to be millionaires, we want to get rich, don't worry about, expenses and stuff like that. But unless we play the game and understand the basics, that's not going to happen. So today's presentation is all about opening the page and somehow touch some part of the games. Financial illiteracy, by the way, is a #1 economic crisis in the whole world. It is, by the way, the United States of America is just on the 7th behind China. What exactly is financial literacy? Before we go to illiteracy, it says that understanding how to earn, spend, save, manage, and invest money. As Frederick Douglass says once you learn reading, you're free. It takes all about learning how to read. And the same is true about learning how money works. It's a game. This is just a quote from How Money Works book. So it is not only for adults, for retirees, for the youngsters, or for the kids, it's for everyone. By the way, there are about 71 million baby boomers today. And the fact is that every day, 10,000 of them turn 65. And most of them that realize that they don't have enough for retirement and keep working. And there are about 65 million Gen Xers behind them. And unfortunately, they're behind on their retirement and saving at the same time. And the ugly truth is 34% of them have no retirement at all for retirement saving. And 72 million millennials, that's a great number, but at the same time, 6 in 10 do not have how much or what type of insurance to buy. And they have to start saving today, not when they turn 30 or 40 or 50, just today. And the lack of financial literacy, by the way, could lead to a wide number of financial difficulties for people, which contributes somehow to important social issues, as we earlier saw in the introduction, the Black economy introduction. I mean, knowledge and resource have something to do with poverty, and not knowing how to play the game. And the financial illiteracy specifically leads to poverty, job scarcity, and wealth inequality. So we have to understand that. And financial literate people, what do financial literate people do? What's the difference between those who lack those fundamental knowledge and then those who have it? The difference is that those informed people have the awareness and they have the knowledge to decide on specific and fundamental decisions of their lives. That is the difference. When we go back to the source of the problem, by the way, when we talk about the solution, people need to start how money works, understand how money functions and works as kids, long before they're already in deep debt and sense a kind of looming crisis. Unfortunately, in this country, in the United States, only 21 states require a financial literacy course to graduate from high school. And the simple fact is that many people do not start learning about money until they're already in deep debt and sense a looming crisis. And when you see kids, most of them do not understand the fundamentals of money, are also pulling out a massive amount of debt as a name of student loan that they have no clue how to handle that. And we have to deal with that too. Specifically, when we see college and money, as I said earlier, we have to educate kids while they are growing, because it has something to do mindset. We have to teach them how to save it, how to make it grow, and how to protect it. Once they know that, they will be conditioned and know the fundamentals and the game of how to play the game. When you look into college and money in this country, 43% of students, loan borrowers, are not making payments. It's so pity. It's so sad, but this is a fact. And only 35% of students entering university have received any previous financial education, according to Money Matters Campus. And the company Student Loan Planner reports that roughly 90% of borrowers, students, experience significant anxiety due to their loan burden. And a survey by Equifax reveals that 55.7% of students listed student loan debt as their top reason for not being able to afford their first home. The other day, I was watching this video on Facebook It was so sad, but I was preparing these slides. I somehow really wanted to share what I saw on Facebook on that video. It's simply a post, it's a video. And the video was just showing the wife blindfolded, and the husband was showing written posters, and it says, "I bought my wife's childhood home." And then she doesn't know exactly what's going on as she was blindfolded. And he said, I mean, he was just simply showing the posters, and it just goes just like that. She has no idea and loves this house. Sadly, 10 years ago, her parents had to sell the house. At the time, we were both drowning in student loans, car payment, health insurance, credit card, life in general. During COVID, I lost my job, as millions and so many people did, and thankfully she was a teacher by the time, so we didn't have that problem. But one day I started my own business, and it's going great now. So I made an offer, and they just bought the house anyway at the end of the day. But the problem is that because of 10 years ago on, and all those expenses that I mentioned earlier, they couldn't do anything at all. So we have to really understand and then play the game well. That is just the formula. And according to Salime, in 2019, the average college student had 1,183 in credit card debt. It's a huge jump, like 31% increase from 2016. And then unless we somehow eliminate dates and then somehow choose a mentor and then now learn how to play the game, the cycle will keep going just like that. And by the way, if a 20 years old, they don't know how lucky they are, because money has something to do with time. The net, for example, if you have $1 today, and the purchasing property of $1 in 10 years is not going to be the same. So if a 20 years old saves $113 every month for the next couple of years until he turns 67, he can make $1 million with 8%, 9%, 10% average interest rate. And if he doubles that saving to 226 every month to the age of 67, from the age of 20, he can make $2 million. And guess what? If this guy, said, I can wait, and then started at the age of 35, he has to contribute at least $452 every month to get $1 million at the age of 67 with 8, 9, 10 rate of interest rate. So this is the game. So we have to understand, as I said earlier, the cost of financial illiteracy. Whatever we're earning, unless we put somewhere important, we lose something. According to National Finance Educators Council, the average American reported that they lost $1,279 in 2019. By the way, sometimes I've seen such kind of a different data from $2,500 to $5,000. But let's go with 1,279, by the way, for our discussion today. So that would mean that the country lost in general $307 billion last year, simply because citizens were clueless about how many works. And this $307 billion is going to be equivalent to a country's GDP somewhere, by the way. 1, 2, or 3 or 4, sometimes 5 countries together. It's a huge man. So the opportunity cost of financial literacy, what if the 1,279 that Americans think they lose every year was in account earning 8% interest that compounded monthly? That squandered cash would grow to $13,987. And imagine that this is not only 1,278. What if that guy somehow kept saving that type of money every single year? What would happen? Calculate that. And another fact which is sad, there are 3 financial literacy truths that the pandemic has exposed recently. Number one, we're not ready for emergencies. That is so sad. There are millions and millions of people who don't even have $400 if they have any emergency, which needs $400 in their pockets. And then we don't know how to use our money. We've seen that so many people received stimulus money in the past months, and then only 29% of those people really wanted to save extra cash on their portfolio. The others wanted to spend it with different things. And the last thing is that we want to learn more, but where are we looking? What are we looking? What really want to know? What are the questions? What do we know? Where do we get those points? There are big questions to ask. Okay, the first one is how can I make more money in this industry? How can I protect my family against any loss? How do I stop living paycheck to paycheck? What is the best way to reduce my debt? What is the best way saving in taxes? Do I have enough money to retire? Ask these questions, by the way, today, tomorrow, every time, because we have to understand the money game. And then how can I save more by changing my spending habits? It's so interesting, by the way. According to Yahoo Finance, typical Americans spend $60 for coffee every month, $29 for alcohol, $63 for clothing, $237 for subscription, $181 eat out and take out, $83 for ride shares, and $30 for events, and $70 for lottery. It could be more, by the way. What if we save this for 3% at least, and then we just have to understand that our dollar depreciates due to inflation every day. So if we save $1 in 30 days, it's going to be $30, and in a year, 365. If we save $10 every day, in a month, $300. In a year, 3,650. If we add at least 2, 3, 4, 5% on top of that, and there's another magic idea called compounding, which Yeti is going to elaborate later, it would grow magically. This is going to be my last slide, and then Yeti is going to give you some magical numbers so that you could see and then understand how to play the games. These are pertinent and important steps towards achieving financial independence in this country. The first one is we have to know how much we earn every month, and then how much we somehow give away, expense. And we have to stop giving away our paycheck or our money to someone. And the second one is debt management, by the way. Unfortunately, the debt in general in credit card has surpassed $1 trillion, which is going to be 9,333 when we divide to every population in this country. That is, if someone has $9,333 in their credit card, and they keep paying the minimum and then kept it for 30 years, that means they've paid $37,886 in interest rate over 30 years. That is crazy. So the third step is going to be emergency fund. Unless we start saving for emergency, it's not going to happen. Earlier, I've said that about 43% of Americans do not have $400 for any emergency. That is sad. That is a pity. We have to start saving today. Learn how to save more or earn more. And the first one is proper protection. Insurance, by the way. Again, protect our family against any loss of income, and protect family assets. Different kinds of life insurance, health insurance, auto insurance, mortgage insurance, different kinds of insurance. We have to understand the game and get protected before it is too late. Time is the great factor in this case. And the fifth one is build wealth. As I said earlier, in this country, the dollar depreciates every single year due to inflation, but for 3.0% every single year. Unless somehow mitigate that by saving 3% and more, we lose that every year. So we have to build that. And unfortunately, there are so many people who don't even have saving for retirement. And we have to understand, where do we have to save for retirement? Is it in the 401k? Is it in the Roth? We really have to understand how those type of things work. And the last one is called estate preservation. Estate preservation has something to do having legal documents. Okay, we build a family, but we have to have a legal documents to pass some legacy on top of that. We're not lawyers, but these are some important facts that you have to know. So thank you very much, and thank you. Happy Thanksgiving for all of you, and I really appreciate that you have boarded on this presentation today. If you want to talk to me, or if you have any question, my phone number is 21462-425. And now I am so happy and privileged to introduce you my business partner and my friend. I can call her my friend, Yeti. We call her Yeti Satu. And she is the founder of Yeti Financial LLC, founder and CEO of Yeti Financial LLC. As many of you know her, she has been a great servant of the community for the past 30 years, specifically in the real estate, close to 20 years, and in the financial industry for the past 10 years, I would say. So now I'll hand over the mic to her. I really appreciate for your presence, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Mahader. First of all, I would like to thank Purpose Black, the Black Economic Excellence, Wesson, and the entire staff of Dr. Fisaha. And also, Dr. Fisaha, also, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, for inviting me and Mahader to present what we know, because the blessing is always in the giving. So let me go to my presentation and start it now. So my name is Yetnai Satu, and as a business name, Yeti Satu. And today I'm presenting you how money works on top of what Mahader presented. This is just a continuity of what we already presented. So as many of you knew, the greatest Albert Einstein left us a great, powerful formula on how to grow our money. That is the power of compound interest and the rule of 72. How many of us knew about the rule of 72 and the power of compound interest? What it does is, whenever we go out there to any financial institute, they offer us interest rate. As you see in this illustration, you see 4%, 6%, 8%, 12%. The higher the interest rate, it takes less time for our money to double up. So when you divided 72 by the interest rate, the answer is in the second line, 18 years, 12 years, 9 years, and 6 years. So if we look at ourselves, and we all are 29 years old today, we just went to a financial institute with $10,000 in our bag or in our hands, in our wallets. So all of us deposit that money the same day, and we all are 29 years old. However, the interest rate offered to each and every one of us is totally different. So when you divide 72 by 12, every 6 years, this individual's money will double up. Why? Because of the power of compound interest. The other person, because of the 8%, it takes every 9 years, it will double up. It takes 9 years for his $10,000 to double up. So the game is just, all these people came at the same time, but when they retire, because of the interest rate and the compound interest concept and formula, this individual, when he retire at the age of 65, he has only $40,000. The other one is 80,000. The fourth person, 160, and the last person has $640,000. Where do we want to be? Everybody wants to live comfortably during their retirement, and they want to have enough money to live off of it and to give away, just like the way we're used to it when we were young and active and working and earning income. So, when we look at this illustration, is the compound interest working for us, or is it working against us? If we look at ourselves, everything that we own today is on credit. The car is on credit, the home is on credit, and the car tire is on credit, the telephone is on credit, everything that we have is on credit. And most people, when I do communicate with people and consult people, I see that they're used to paying the minimum payment. And then the compound interest is working for the creditors, not for us. So Albert Einstein said the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. The person that understands compound interest will earn it. The person that does not will pay it. So our community, the minorities, the Blacks, we're just paying them and helping them to open up more branches around the United States or anywhere else in the world, because we don't know how to play the game. So financial illiteracy is costing our community. I mean, everything, not only us, but our generation is also feeling the burden in the financial hardship. So on this, dividing 72 by any interest rate. I mean, some of us, we have cars that we took at 24% or credit card that we took the maximum 24%. The interest rates for every loan that we take start from 4%, but I've seen 24. Does that mean that they double up their money every 3 years according to this formula? Yes, they do. But if we're alert and then know what's going on in the financial game and know how to play the game, then we can convert that. We do have credit cards. Are we really earning points on the credit card, or are we paying the minimum and they're just the one who's really sucking our blood in every asset or every cash that we have in our account? So we really have to pay attention. Very few people, or maybe we can say many, I don't have the stats, but when they understand money, when they say that, oh, I know how money works, where are they? They're in the stock market. And as you see in this chart, when the market goes up, the stock market goes up, the consumers or the people who are in the market are also participating on the gain. But when the market goes down, they're still participating in the loss too. So this yo-yo, playing it, in the stock market, sometimes, something happened without our control, because in most cases, companies are managing it for us. Some people, they manage their own account. So it depends where your knowledge level, but the market goes up and down. There's always correction. And that correction could happen, during COVID because of the illness and the number of people that we lost. It goes down for weeks and weeks, and people lost over 30%. And right now it's been doing okay, but this past Friday, it crashed again. So that up and down is always there. And especially for people who do not know how to manage it, we want them to know that there's also an index product that they can play depending on what kind of product they use. So what does index do, and why is it different from the one that is fully in the market? The index products are not in the market, but they mimic the market. So whatever interest the market performs, that's what is going to be applied into our product, or any financial product relates to that we're using. The other thing is, when the stock market goes up, we still participate in the game. When the market crash, the index products tend to have a feature that will really protect our money and just hold it there. We're not going to lose even a penny, and it just goes sideways. And the people who lost money or who crashed with the market, when they try to recover, trying to get up and just try to recover the loss, we just move up from where we stopped because of the kind of product that we're using. So we avoid totally the loss, and we always participate whenever the market is on the up direction. And if you look at the number here, they both came with $100,000. And at the end of the day, when they finished their playing, the game, one is at 219,617. The other one is at 245.37. So there's always a huge difference, but in this scenario, there were only two hiccups, and then those two crash created that kind of gap. So if a person involved in the market at the age of 20, by the time he retire at 65, there will be a lot of ups and downs, and then the result is going to be really huge difference. So it's always good to know both sides, or any other financial products and services that are out there. And also the best way for every investment is know how to, diversify and put it in different buckets. So when one crash, the other one might be up on that day. So you can balance out your loss. So today in the United States, there are three baskets where people put their money. One is a fixed product. When you ask them, why do you choose the fixed product? They said because of the safety of principal, because the federal government insured the banks and people feel very much comfortable to keep their money there. But on the other hand, I mean, the disadvantage putting their money at the bank is just the interest rate that is offered by the banks. What you see in here is a CD interest rate currently 0.5 or 0.6. If you are willing to lock your money for 5 years, most banks are offering that. But that is just the average that you see is 2%. But today is 0.4 and 0.5. If you choose to go to saving and checking deposit, interest-bearing accounts, 0.1, 0.01, 0.02, in some cases 0.05 might be what you can get offered. So people are really compromising the growth of their money for safety. And the other kind of people, they just say, no, this is nothing and it's just a very small return for my money. So I like to be aggressive and I want to play in the stock market. Yes, I mean, whenever they go there and just play aggressively, they can have the upside potential. At the same time, they share the loss too. So the financial service industry came up with another idea. They said, okay, the aggressive people are really hurting whenever the market crash, especially if that year is their retirement year. And then the other people who believes in the federal government assurance, they're really compromising on their interest rate and they're not making enough for their money. So what should we do? Then they said, okay, we came up with the index product. Why do people love indexed products? Because it has the best of both worlds, the upside potential, which everybody wants to earn, and the downside protection, which is the safety of principal. Whatever happened with the market, the economy, the disease, it does not matter whether the president tweets this and that. It just does not matter. Whatever they earned the previous year, they lock it and just hold on until the next market, the upside market comes. So the risk and the small interest rate or maybe compromising on their return is completely taken away by this new product. So there are different things that people do, and there is a huge misunderstanding in this area. There are 3 places where we say, where people put their money in tax later, tax now, and tax advantage. The tax later products are like a product like 401k, company sponsored plan, IRA, and SEP for business owners. 403b, 403c, 457 are for public servants like teachers, nurses, firefighters, and the church pastors and police officers. All of these people, IRAs came up with this code to identify what profession these people are coming from or where the money is coming from. These are not the assets, but the assets are inside 401k, IRA, SEP, it could be Roth IRA and other products. So, these products are tax deferred contribution. People think in my community, I can communicate with many people every day because of this 401k, retiree, or maybe they left their job and they want to know where they can move that money. But the understanding that we have as a community in the Ethiopian and Eritrean community, they think this money is tax-free once they hit age 66, which is the normal retirement age. But the reality is totally different from what they believe. The reality, these are not tax after tax money. It is tax deductible contribution. It grows tax deferred. And at the end, they do have partner named Uncle Tom. So IRS is their partner until the last penny spent. There's always a partner. And remember, it does not matter how old you are, you do share with them. And the other thing is you are really facing 2 problems with this kind of product. One of the problem is just the market loss. And the second one is the tax bracket issue that we're going to be challenged or we're going to face in the future, because people think that, they save money in this bucket when they were at 28% tax bracket or 15% tax bracket. In their mind, the tax bracket is just something fixed. It won't go up or down. And when they retire, the income is going to be less. And then the tax is going to go down with it too. That is not true because the tax bracket goes up and down. We came from 94% tax bracket and now we're down to 37%. But there were times that people paid 70%, 50%, and then it went down to 28%, and then it goes up to 40%. Now it came down to 39, and then it came a little bit down, currently in 2020, to 37%. This is the nature of the tax bracket. So a lot of people don't believe or do not understand that this money is going to be taxable until the last penny spent, and the income tax that you're expected to pay in the future is based on that time tax bracket, not today's tax bracket, not with the tax bracket that you save your money. So you have to understand that. So those are the two risks: the market risk and the tax bracket risk. The tax now is just the money that we earn, our income, our salary. We get it after tax. Everything is deducted. We put it in a CD, certified deposit. We believe in it. And then the interest rate, as I showed you earlier, is 0.5 or 0.6. And you gain very little, but most people go there. They feel comfortable because of that federal government security that they have in the bank. The mutual fund, saving and checking, these are all monies that we save after tax. And then there's another one, tax advantage, municipal bond, Roth IRA, life insurance products. These are not going to give us a tax deduction because they are after tax, but they do give us a lot of break at the end because we don't have to pay tax on the gain. So it is very important to know the difference between these three: tax later, tax now, tax advantage. So the types of life insurance, the other place that we put money is in the life insurance product. So types of life insurance, as all of you know, is just term life, whole life, universal life, and variable life. So what are these things? I mean, all of these things are sharing one thing in common: death. The old or the previous life insurance, term, whole life, universal life, variable life, they're available when we die. But while we're sick or ill, it's very difficult to take money out of this kind of life insurance. A term life is just for a specific term. It could be for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or 30 years, or 25 years. So after that time, after the term life expire, many people don't have the financial capability of extending it or renewing it because maybe they didn't know that it will expire, even though it is term, but the person who gave it to them probably didn't explain it well. So they just believe that they do have insurance, but they don't know that it will expire and it will cost them a lot of money when that time comes. Whole life is just a permanent life insurance that will give you cash value and it lasts up to 100 years. It gives from 1 to 4% interest rate in return for your money. So it does have cash value. You can borrow against it, and you pay up to 100 years. So it makes it a little bit difficult because not many people have the income to subsidize or to satisfy the open financial obligations that we have after 65 or 67, whichever age we choose to retire. Universal life is just a little bit modern life insurance, and it gives you the flexibility of the premium payment, and it pays up to 6%. The variable product is always just like the stock market. It is in the market. Whenever the market goes up, you gain with it, and then whenever the market goes down, you lose. So to avoid all of this, if we use the current kind of life insurance, for example, it lasts up to 120 years or 121 years. It is a permanent life insurance. It has capped and uncapped interest rate. That means there's a limitation on the interest rate that we can earn, or the sky's the limit. Whatever interest rate that you earn is up to you, and we just take it. And there are some rules and regulations that comes with it. But whenever the market goes up, this kind of products will allow you to participate in the gain and earn. Whenever the market goes down, it has a feature that locks the money that we earned previously, so we don't even lose a penny. And the other beautiful thing that a life insurance product, the current one, has is just the living benefit. Living benefit during chronic illness, critical illness, terminal illness, and critical injury. Whenever this happens, we have the opportunity to advance money from our death benefit. So it is a huge difference between the other one and this one's. There's also, the product also give us a lifetime income. We can borrow money against it, no question asked. We don't have to explain why we take it. We don't have to really be at a certain age, and there's no penalty. So it gives us all that flexibility. Whatever we take while we're alive, when we pass away, our beneficiaries will be, taking the leftover money. So the whatever death benefit that we have minus the money that we took while we're alive. This kind of account, we put our money or we fund it after tax money, which is the net income, and it grows tax deferred. Then later on, we're not going to have a partner or like a government or IRS like the other products that will really share the wealth that we accumulated. So it is really a big difference between the tax deferred and after tax money. So the government, they don't want us to use this kind of product as a product to hide our money. It has rules and regulations, and they left us 3 buckets. And they said, everybody, every human being that is living in the United States and is interested in, using the products that the financial service industry offers, they have the right to use 2 out of the 3. What are the 2? You can put your tax deductible contribution into one of this buckets, which is the variable product. It will grow tax deferred, and you can take later on after, you pay tax out, on the accumulated money. Or if you don't want nobody to share, including the government, you can bring after tax money, you grow tax deferred, then later on the distribution is going to be tax free. So the government say, do you want to pay tax now? You want to pay tax later or never? So you get to pick whichever one you want when you understand how it works. So today, all Americans, including everybody who lives in America, have a very huge financial challenge. What is it? The list of things that you see in here. They live paycheck to paycheck. Their debts are really very much overwhelming. Parents are really, their debt is so much high because they take loans for their kids. We're not aware of the financial industry products, and then we just came to this country. We have children, and the children are very genius, and they finish high school and they go to college. Who's going to sign the loan document? The parents. Many people today in their retirement age, they're really, really struggling because debts are so much high, and the knowledge of money or how to play the game of money is just too far away from us. And living to paycheck. Spending is very high. A lot of people are just spending money on materials, that are not going to appreciate. Every day it depreciates. From car feature, of course, homes are appreciating, but sometimes we go our limit and purchase very expensive homes, and at the end, we leave house poor. Poor saving habits, sometimes we have the money, sometimes we don't have enough, but still, the people with lots of money that I see, and they never expect that this day will happen. They don't even have a 3 months or 6 month reserve money or emergency fund, and because of the poor saving habits, not because they don't have it or they never have it, but in many cases that I've seen, that is what I experienced. And then all of this creates some kind of, financial security. Their retirement is not in place. And I spoke to someone yesterday at the age of 66, 67, 68, somewhere in that area. It's $3,000 is, her annual income is $3,000. And that's not what she's used to. She was living a very comfortable and rich kind of life. And she was giving, and she was known for, being a giver in the community or in the, friends and, surroundings that she used to be. But right now, it's just like a surprise that happened to her. And from the money that she was earning while she was working, if she knew the money game, the life could have been really, the financial status that she's going to be, or she is right now, would have been really, really much better. So without a proper financial knowledge and tools, many families have given up or put their dreams on hold. They feel their financial future is hopeless. Why? Because the game was not really, they were not introduced about how money works, and that created so many problems. This is my favorite quote from Tony Robbins. It's your money, it's your life. Take control. If you don't control it today, 12 to 15 years from now, many of our minority brothers and sisters, and we're going to face a major, major financial hardship. I want to leave you with the following questions. I want everyone who attended this to ask this question to themselves. How would you feel if you don't have to go to work every day and be your own boss? Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. We all are born to win. We can make it happen, but it takes a good habit and a good discipline and a desire to become that individual. How would you feel if you're able to purchase everything you want to own, send your kids to college without being in any kind of debt, cash paid, and know that you won't outlive your savings? Can you imagine the peace of mind that you will experience if you are at that position? It is huge, very huge. Even having a small life insurance, or like Mahathir said, if you have like living trust through an attorney or will, whatever your state requires to protect your assets, from that day on, you will feel very, very different. The good night's sleep that you have, the peace of mind that you have, the fear is going to be taken away from you. You don't have to live in fear if you know how to play the money game, because money is not really everything, but it takes care of so many of our needs and problems. Would you want to live with a peace of mind and financial security? If you do, you have to start today. You have to really know the game, understand how the power of compound interest, how compound interest work, explore different products and see which one really benefits your family, which one really protects your family. How much do you love your family? Do you really love them? Whether you are around or you're not, do you want them to live the same lifestyle that they're living today? If so, you really need to explore different kind of financial products and services. There are so many financial professionals, the variable side with the security license, us with the fixed side, insurance, annuity, 401k, rollovers, and other small company, 401ks also. We're able to structure that through one of the company that we're using. So there are so many opportunities, but explore, take advantage of it, and use it. So I want to thank every one of you who took the time to spend it with us, to feed your brain with some positive and some information, because positive always generates another positive. So I appreciate everyone who organized this event or this small short session, but we were very grateful. I feel honored to participate and share what I know, because as I said at the beginning, the success, everything comes with, start from giving back. And I love to give back to my community, to all human beings with no discrimination. So you gave me more happiness today for allowing me to share what I know. So my name is again Yeti Isatu. I'm the owner of Yeti Financial LLC. My email address is info@yetifinancial.com. You can also contact me with the toll-free number. Nationwide, I serve about 26 states or 28 states, all over, in the nation. So my number is 833-938-8448, or you can say 1-833-YETI for you. I really mean it. I'm here for you. Thank you so much, Wesson. Thank you, Dr. Fasaha, and the entire staff. If there is any question, we're very happy and glad to answer anybody's question. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very, very much, Yeti and Mahathir. That was very informative. I would like to appreciate Mahathir for the advice on how we can achieve financial independence, especially the 6 important steps were very important to know. And I really like Yeti showed us about how the magic number 72 affects us on our everyday life. I'm sure we all benefit from the points, that are raised on the great presentation. Especially, I like to stress that your cooperation with Black Economy Excellence and what you are doing is much appreciated, Yeti and Mahader. I'm sure that you will give us additional trainings in relation to the same topic in the future. And thank you again. Now, we will go ahead and take the questions from participants. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions in the question box. And in the meanwhile, please feel free to give us your reviews on the forms provided on the poll. And it will help us, to improve ourselves to serve you better in the future. So now the questions. Okay, the first one I get is, can Yeti suggest resources like books and audio or video to this audience?
Yes, I mean, I can share the Tony Robbins book, the one that says Money Master the Game. It has an audio and also just the book. And he explains it very well, how the game works, and then how to avoid taxes and how to make the power of compound interest work for you instead of against you. So use Tony Robbins. And then there's also another book called The Power of Zero that has also a very powerful information. You can Google it, in The Power of Zero is also another book that I recommend. And The Retirement Miracle is another book. And Tax-Free Retirement is also another book that I recommend for all of you to read, but it really elaborates everything that Mahader and I mentioned in our presentation.
Thank you, Yeti. And there is a thanking remark from one of our participants to give us a wake-up call. So thank you. And the other question is, I have a question about growing wealth through real estate. Is this advisable?
Well, I'm a REMAX agent for the past 20 years. Real estate has a season. If you really want to become successful with it, it has its own season. And when they train us 20 some years ago to become a realtor, they said, buy when no one is buying, sell when no one is selling. That is the basic foundation to become successful in real estate, especially, if you want to be an investor. For owner occupants, all seasons are, okay, because as long as we have the income and the credit, it's okay. We at the end of the day, we live in a house anyways, whether it's an apartment or something that we rent from another investor. We do need a roof on top of our head. So it does not matter if we pay for a rent, for a landlord, whether it is an apartment or someone else's investment property, we're paying anyways that money. We're paying because we work. We're paying because our profession is secured and we're capable of earning that specific income. We see our future is going to be even much better. Maybe getting another degree or certificate, or the number of years that we serve that company, will give us a little more salary increment. So we know for sure that we can pay. So if we are in that position as not as an investment, but as an owner occupant, all the time is okay. But for investors, in order to be very successful in real estate investment, you have to really see the economy and the market. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? How's the value? Is it at the peak or is it, declining? Where are we? How many of these people are paying their mortgage, their commitment every day? If we don't pay, the trustee is in between the buyers and the banks to really be the judge, the fair person to judge. And the paper that we sign when we don't pay, yes, they're going to kick us out and we're going to be in foreclosure. So are we really expecting many foreclosure coming up, or are we going to see many short sale in the near future? I mean, the statistics and the situations are telling us over 50 million people didn't pay their monthly obligation, whether it is a rent or real estate that we own. So all of that is something that an investor needs to really put into calculation. And then before you buy, real estate is just, you know that you're going to be successful before even you put your signature and you transfer the name. Why? Because it has its own formula, just like Albert Einstein gave us a formula to duplicate our money in the bank. In real estate, it does the same thing. I mean, there is a formula that we have to use. We bought it, we hold it for a certain time. That time will cost us money, utility, contractors, tax, and all of that, other things, landscaping and everything. So we have to put all of those numbers into the calculation, and we know that this is a really profitable investment, or there's really a risk in it, or the gap between the profit and the amount that we invested into the property. When it is too close, if a market is really changing quickly, and then there are many homes coming around the area where we purchased the home, then it takes longer time. And then the plan at the beginning was just to get rid of it or to flip it in 2 months. 6 to 8 months is the average. But if it takes more than that, that means we're going to foreclose again. I mean, you know, the person that we purchased the home foreclosed it, and now we purchased it to profit on, you know, that property. But the calculation, when the calculation is wrong, at the end of the day, we're going to be the second person who's going to foreclose on that property. So we really have to understand how the numbers are working. But real estate is always a great investment, but you have to buy it at a very, very reasonable, very far from the fair market value, to be sure, confident about the interest that you're, I mean, the return that you're going to get out of it. So that's what I have.
Okay, the next one says, until you become an entrepreneur, how to best leverage your paycheck from an employer, tax deductions, home ownership, filing high exemptions, etc. What else most to retain our money so you can save? And he
Nader,
said,
you want to go?
Yes, I can go here. It's a great question, by the way. The most important thing is, by the way, to invert the pyramid. You know, we somehow, get a paycheck, whatever amount we have, and then spend here and there, and then the last person to pay is us, ourselves. So we have to change that sequence. We have to first pay ourselves. It could be $10, it could be $5, it could be $100 first, and then focus on what we need, not what we want. So there is a percentage called 50, 30, 20. So we most of the time spend the first 50% of our income on what we need, like mortgage, food, health insurance, and stuff like that. And the 30% on what we want, which are not like pertinent to live in our lives, like phones, internet, clothes, and stuff like that. And the remaining 20% should go to saving. 10% maybe for emergency, 10% for long-term saving. But the problem is that we don't even know exactly our expenses. We haven't yet somehow bring a pen and a paper and somehow wrote down face to face with our wives or with our partners and stuff like that. So that should be the basics. And after that, what are the benefits that we are receiving from our employers, like 401k, 403b, 457, TSP, and stuff like that, and health insurance plans? Have you ever compared our plans, from, for example, this is the time from 1st of November all the way to 15th of January to get health insurance from the market? Have we ever compared what we have with our employers with the market? Have we ever compared the plans that we have, like long-term savings, with elsewhere? So that's what, first of all, we have to really understand and know the benefits that we have. Does the employer matches? How much percent? Is it 3? Is it 4? And then how much are we making? Are we qualified to save in different portfolios, like for Roth IRA and stuff like that? So when we know exactly what we have, in that case, it's going to be very easy to decide on most important questions of our lives.
Okay. Some claim that buying a house is not an asset at all. Do you dis or agree on this? Why?
Well, when you purchase a home, it's tend or meant to be an asset. But like I said earlier, depending on how and when, at what time you purchase this property, many of our community, people in our community, the property or the investment that they did in real estate became a liability, especially in 2005, people purchased at a peak, and then the market crashed in 2007 around August. From August 2007 all the way to March 2011, we were on a declining market. So during that time, all those people who purchased a home, the home became a liability to them. Even after they rented their room, their basement, and everything else, still it does not cover the monthly mortgage. Or as an investment property, some of them, they purchased an investment property and then it does not even cover its mortgage, its own mortgage, let alone to bring some cash value. So the calculation, whenever we purchase a property, if we really miscalculated, yes, it will be a liability instead of being an asset. So home buying, you need a lot of consultation, and you have to understand what's going on inside out. You don't just buy it because you like the floor plan or the neighborhood, or sometimes our kids' friends are living in that neighborhood. Nothing emotional. I mean, we don't have to go purchase a home with emotional feelings. The reality, the facts has to be also attached to it. So it is a good investment, but a lot of people, even today, I have a phone call that I received from one of our brother from Ethiopia, and he just called and he said, I just moved in 3 weeks ago and I lost my job. 3 weeks later, after he moved into the property, he has 3 children, and he said, what should I do? This year, as a matter of fact, I didn't really help the buyers because I'm afraid of the way the economy and everything is going. So I like to be on my client's success side rather than being on their failure side. So I said, I'll be there later if anything happened in the market to really support and help and share what I know and, encourage them. That's not the end of the world. It happened in the past. If it happened, God forbid, again, we have to really be prepared. And I've seen a few short sales in the market right now from the way the economy is and the job loss and family death, different reasons. So yeah, we never know. I mean, you never know which direction we're going to go. But if it happens, I'd rather be on that side and encouraging people than being the cause of their failure. So I didn't do it. I helped many sellers this year, but not zero buyers. But I have my own belief, and I just share whatever I feel. So on a personal basis, I mean, one-on-one basis, and I do consult people, and none of my consultation, as a matter of fact, does cost any money. It's zero charge in anything. I mean, social matter, real estate, financial services, whatever that they want, they think that I do know or I have as an information, I'm willing to give everything that I have to anybody who's interested to learn my life experience or in my profession. So that's what I do. So I don't want them to think that real estate is a bad investment. It is an excellent investment. I'm a living witness. I really, really covered many of my kids' tuition and other life events because of the equity that I built in my real estate investment. So it's a great investment.
Okay, there is another one. I am for life this time and I have 401k. Do you advise me to use it during this pandemic time?
Yeah, well, question to Yeti, because he said that, and then I'm going to ask Mahathir at the end of it to add on top of it. But do you advise me to use the 401k right now? I mean, it depends on what kind of financial situation this individual is at this time. The government gave everybody who has a 401k or deferred, tax deferred contribution up to $100,000 if they are affected by the coronavirus or their family member. You have to have the right reason, the good reason, what the government, the guideline, you have to meet the guideline to qualify for that. But many people rolled over their 401k into another plan. Some plans, it does not matter how bad we want it, but we cannot really roll over our money into certain baskets. It requires some kind of financial stability. Some of them, for example, if they want to roll it over into an annuity, and this individual probably has $100,000, and the government allow him to roll it over without any penalty. The 10% penalty is waived because of the pandemic to, for everybody. But if he decided to move the entire $10,000 and he's out of job, he doesn't have any other assets that he saved somewhere else in the CD or saving, checking, or other accounts, then it will be very hard for the financial service industry to accept the entire $100,000. To grow it, maybe at 6% fix it, no matter what happened, on a compound interest, depending on his age. It is very attractive, but there are some time that we cannot really take advantage of certain products because of the financial instability that we're dealing with today. So yes, he can roll it over to something else. It is not really, yeah, go ahead and use it right now, but I need to see all his financial situation. We do have a needs analysis form, Mahathir and I, and our company has the needs analysis form, the data form. We have to see the entire picture written on that form. So his debts and his assets and his income and where does he stand right now? Some people, a lot of people, they don't even know who they are until they put everything in the paper. When they put everything on the form and then they said, oh, do I owe this much? They don't even know until they put it. So it's just like looking at themselves in the mirror and they say, oh, I didn't know I have this spot on my face kind of thing. So it gives them the opportunity to see themselves and for us to know where they stand before we start opening our mouth and say, oh, this has to go in here. A percentage of it, I think such and such will accept a certain percentage of the money that you have in this basket. So it is very hard. The financial service industry is very, very highly regulated. And we have to have a one-on-one meeting, and it needs a very transparent discussion with the professionals to come up with the solution. So right now, since I don't know his overall financial situation, it is very hard to consult, but he's welcome to give me a call or email me or, get together through Zoom, and then we can go from there. I'm so sorry I'm not able to answer that because of the rules and the regulation, the guideline. I have a very high respect, the ultimate respect for the financial service industry. I love it. And I want everybody to adopt the transparency and the confidentiality. So we're willing to serve him, either myself or Mahathir. But yeah, right now, without the proper ingredients, we cannot come up with the medicine, with the solution for it. Yeah, that's what I have. But Mahathir, please go ahead and continue on that.
I think you've answered it very well. I would rather answer Dr. Fasaha's question here. I could read it. There are two questions. By the way, it's great to see you here, Dr. Fasaha. The question goes just like this: Ethiopians are culturally very shy speaking about their finances. What should be done to change this culture? And we're forced to talk about our health, but not finances. It is absolutely true. By the way, that's why we're out here educate everyone, because financial illiteracy, not knowing exactly how to play the game, is a great problem, or a huge problem, massive problem these days. Every year we go to our doctors to check how our liver is functioning, our heart is functioning, our kidneys functioning. as a human being, we are systems. So if there is any glitch in one of our body parts, it should be fixed as soon as possible. Money system is exactly works just like that. If there is any glitch, whether in spending habit, whether we have great day, whether we're spending in something unnecessary, whether we don't have any savings for retirement, it should be fixed as soon as possible today. Otherwise, it should get worse. So that's why we hear such kinds of type of education, classes, question answers, and platforms really help. And sometimes when we go out in the field, sit one-on-one with families, the hardest question I would say is asking, how much do you earn annually, sir? Or how much do you, what is your income annually? That is can you imagine, that is a very hard question. Sometimes, you know, how would you forget how much you make monthly? It's not something that you forget. But because that we shy, talking about our finances or talking about, you know, how much we're making every month, that is kind of a taboo, I would say, or shy to talk about it. And that we have to face that, knowing how much we're earning every month. But the problem is that we know that like vividly. I know exactly how much I'm making every month. I know how much exactly I'm making every hour. The problem is that I don't know what my expenses are every month because I don't care. You know, I really work hard every 60, like for 16 hours, 15 hours every day. And when I spend my money, it doesn't matter. When I just simply use credit card, it doesn't matter. That is the discrepancy lies on. So you are right, Dr. Fasaha. But the answer for that is just we have to somehow educate ourselves and ask those great questions time and again. The other question that I saw here is, where can we get 12%? Well, we can get 8%, 9%, 6%, 9, here and there. And by the way, there are about 4 traditional places where we put our money most of the time. Like, for example, real estate, 401ks, individual retirement account, stocks and bonds, and bank accounts. There are other alternatives at the same time where we can grow our money, zero market risk, and then have living benefits, tax deferred, and stuff like that. We can find those different kinds of interest rates depend on when we are buying and at the same time what we are buying. But there are lots of choices, honestly speaking. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mahadar. Okay, Ati, sorry.
No, it's okay. The cultural thing really bothers me. I'm a proud Ethiopian heritage to Ethiopia, you know, we're diaspora. But this being an open person, being transparent is major problem. I mean, you know, unless you really tell your problem when you go to the doctor cannot give you the right prescription. To get the right prescription, you just have to open up and tell the doctor exactly where the pain and what kind of feeling you have. So in our community, just like Mahadar said, people are calling in, they said, maybe 50 bay or 10 bay or whatever. How come a person does not know? These people are not really out there to take your money. When you asked to tell how much your annual income or household income, the higher your income is, the financial service industry is looking at you as a very stable, secured human being or employee or self-employed or known, I mean, a well-read individual or maybe someone who understands how the money game works. So it is more power to you, but most of the time, you know, people think when you ask about their annual income, they feel like, you know, somebody else is out there looking for that income and just maybe attack or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of negative energy coming out of from certain questions that the industry has by default to all individuals without any discrimination. So transparency, mindset has to really change. For everything that we wish to achieve in this world, there are requirements. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, just go down the list, and by the time you get to the last one, you will find yourself at the place where you wish to be. Why? Because you went through the steps. You went through the steps, and then you didn't miss anything, and you're there. So there's nothing really, surprising. It's your own effort that gets you there. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. I mean, if you go to an Italian restaurant like Olive Garden and ate a very tasty, good spaghetti with whatever kind of sauce that you love, but all of them, whichever one you like, has tomato. The tomato is the main ingredient that gave that good taste and very sweet, whatever taste, that makes you, gives you the happiness and the flavorful food. You come home and you want to do the same spaghetti sauce, but you're not willing to spend money on the tomato. You refuse to spend money to buy tomato, and you keep on, stirring the pots with onion and oil and everything else, and you keep saying that, I'm just cooking a spaghetti sauce. If the tomato is not there, how would you expect the same spaghetti that you ate at one of the Italian restaurants, to have it at your house? So everything has its own ingredient. There is nothing in our world created, that nobody out there cannot achieve it. I mean, we're all are capable of achieving whatever dream we have. But ask yourself, how am I related to what I wish to own or to achieve, to succeed? Do you have the time? Do you have the desire? Do you have the patience, even if it takes to sit down and read or take some exam and put some money in it? Whatever it takes, I mean, you can dream according to who you are or what you're born with. So everybody has a potential. Our potentials are different, just like our fingerprints, but understand your potential, work on it, and you can achieve it. I mean, nobody really is born to feel bad or to be broke or to hate life and, or to mess up his own life, and then the generation after too. So we're just here. It's a great country. There are so many opportunities, not only financial services, but be an open mind, positive, spend your time on the positive and dream, and everything is possible to be achieved. That's what I want to give to everyone here.
All right, one last question there is, can you give us example of high interest paying banks?
High interest?
Paying
banks?
Paying banks?
Paying banks? Mahathir, you want to go ahead on that?
Yes. Well, these days, actually, online banks tend to give a better kind of interest rate than the mainstream banks because they don't have any branches, where any ATM machines where you get money on the elsewhere. So due to the fact that specifically before the COVID, they used to give pretty much decent interest rate simply on online savings. For example, I remember Ally Bank is one of those. In Capital One, they had a program called 360 Saving. It is purely online saving, and then there are different kinds of online bankings by the way, and this is just purely to save for our emergencies, like X amount of money, and they give you like 4-5 times more than the mainstream banks. The difference is that it's 100% online. You have to have X bank somewhere, and you have to deposit through that bank, and then if you want your money, you get it through that bank too. But there are some other couples, but this time, due to COVID, they have somehow decreased the interest rate that they're giving, but eventually I'm so hopeful that it will get back where it was before COVID.
Yeah, banks and then also insurance companies on some of the products, 3 years, 5 years products, with one of the carrier that I know. They can give from 0.9 all the way to 2.7% interest, which you cannot get somewhere else. But insurance companies, not all of them, but some of them are very generous, and they came up with a lot of fantastic products out there. So yeah, it just needs a little investigation or research. But yeah, there are places where they can pay better than 0.01 and 0.02%.
All right. It looks like we have covered all the questions forwarded. Yeti and Mahader, would you like to add anything before we wrap up?
I just want to add one important point in regards to retirement. I heard Yeti saying that from the questions that she forwarded, very important questions. She said, how would you feel if you know what you want, or that you will not outlive your savings? If I know that I'm not going to outlive my savings, I would be really, really, really happy. And then I remember that this time, 61% who are living here in the United States, 61% of people are more afraid of outliving their money than dying. Can you imagine that? Than dying, because it is the reality, by the way. Money concept, money idea, the fact that money is so close to our heart, and then we use it, touch it, earn it every day. The fact that we don't know how we have to play the game is the source of the problem. And why these people are scared of outliving their money than dying is only because that the company pension has already gone. In 1998, specifically, from the 500 Fortune companies, 50% of them were used to give pension. But now, I think some in 2016, 2017, only 5% are giving that pension. So it's no more a privilege. It's just gone. And Social Security, when it just started, there were about 45 workers for every retiree collecting Social Security, by the way. Now, that ratio is less than 3 to 1. And I've heard the other day some politicians from the Washington, D.C. area saying that in 2025, there would be a big problem in regards to Social Security. In 2033, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that's going to be a problem. So the only possible way is personal saving. Increasingly, the responsibility is shifting to the individual, to ourselves, to fund our retirement, our emergency, and fulfill our dreams. That's what I want to add on top of what we've been discussing before. Thank you, Wasan.
Okay. Yeah, on my part, I guess Mahader covered most of it, but for those of you who do not know what is ahead, it was expressed on the 70th anniversary of the United Nations by Mrs. Kim O'Brien. And people, even in this country, do not given the opportunity to diversify their money. So in case another crash happened, that's what she said, because of the 2008 market crash. When the next crash happened, nobody knows when, but it will really damage and destroy so many people. So that was like a few years ago. So we have at least another 10 to 15 years, but a lot of our people are unprepared, and the future is very scary. It really, really scares me when I think of, in general, Blacks, minorities, and, all of us. So they need to really explore more, and they need to learn different kind of saving habits and cut on the spending, because in the future, nobody's going to save us. I guess we are just like an asset or like a bank for our families, for our parents. That's how the culture is, but our kids cannot really continue that kind of culture. And the minute they found out that we don't have any retirement, we don't have any money saved, and they're going to run away. Whoever that they're going to marry, that individual will be really surprised in what kind of people, where did they come from? I mean, which planet? I mean, it's very hard for them to understand us and believe the financial status where we are just sitting and waiting. We don't know who we're waiting for. So it will be very embarrassing and very tough, but it is there. We just have to accept the reality and start working on it quickly and cut down on some of the unnecessary spendings, like cable is nowadays replaced with what do you call it, that flash, whatever, the fire stick and other things that they use. So there's so many things that we have to cut down to better our financial future and our children's future too. So many things needs to be discussed individually on one-on-one basis, but for now, I think this is my final word to my people, my community, my Africans, my Black, my minority people, everybody. So I really want them to be protected now, and sooner is better than later. So it's there and accept it, and let's help each other. Thank you so much for this wonderful positive event, Dr. Fasaha, Wesson, and everybody who's participating in this, the entire staff. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yeti and Mahadir. And this was great. And thank you, everyone. We appreciate you for being here with us today. We have the coming next course webinar on the same time on Saturday on November 28th. We will deal with another different topic, how to start a business, the legal and tax issues. You can go and register on our website, www.blackeconomyexcellence.com/GCDI webinars, and you can invite others. Please do so. Thank you, and see you next time, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.